the Southwest update.
You're on
Sorry,
mute.
everybody. Good morning again. So I wanted to just share with you just a quick update on where we are in these sort of quite unusual times that we all find ourselves in. We've had, oh, hang on, I'm letting people in while I'm delivering, so apologies. There's only me on the door. I think I might take the admit thing off. But anyway, so following the restructure of the Wave 3, part of the process after that was to give the senior ECs, Joe, Nikki and Lisa, operational areas of responsibility so that we could really focus. My view was if I managed to split those three sort of key areas, which I'll talk about in a minute, off into it, they could then interrelate with each other, but they'd all have a focus. And then within the team, the wider team, each EC has been aligned to either a specialism or a role that fits with those areas of responsibility. So the three areas of responsibility are comms and data and reporting, communications and best practice, and events and engagement. So I've got a chart actually, but I can send that out later. I don't want to take up valuable time with that. And also, as I say, the individual members of the team. We've established a member of the team who's going to be responsible for being the connection for all things to do with our looked after children, children in care. We just picked up a relationship with Babcock Ed Psych team based in Devon. We're looking at some pilots with them. So this is very much around the targeting theme, but also to support Devon and Somerset, Plymouth and Torbay around NEAT strategies, because a number of young people, statistically, the proportion of young people that fit with those groups that meet with our ed psychs are more higher chance of becoming NEAT, more likely to miss out on some of those life opportunities. So that's a little bit about the structure of the team, and that's working really well now. The other thing that's a huge benefit to us in terms of reporting is that we now have, just one model. So when schools are working with us, we've got all the compass reports, everything for everybody. There's not these different layers that we're trying to marry together. Challenges that we have are around, we've got 21 schools of the 157 that we're looking to, I say challenge, it's pretty outstanding actually. So we moved from 60 to 157. We've got 21 memorandums of understanding that we've yet to get back from schools. So there's 21 schools we haven't yet properly engaged with. We're working with the steering group on who's got relationships with those schools and how they might be able to influence that, recognising obviously that schools and colleges are incredibly busy at the moment. I will share that list with members of the Cornerstone group as well, because it might be that you know a governor or a trustee, or you've got a child at the school or whatever it is, that you might be able to also perhaps have a conversation. What else? Focus for, so that was about the data. The other thing we've got is a really good handle on the EA gaps now. I did share that early with Stuart because he was champing at the bit to get hold of that information. So that has gone out, and with our steering group. So that's again out there in circulation. So the challenging for us is where we can find enterprise advisors to work with alternative provision, so special educational needs and pupil referral units. Again, that's one of the conversations we're having with Babcock Ed Psych team, because obviously members of their team are quite well, I don't know what the right word is, but experienced, skilled to understand the needs of that particular cohort, and we're hoping to encourage them to get on board in the role of EA. But that's a bit of a slow burn. We've literally just started those conversations. Focus for the spring term for the team is going to be about raising where we've got data that's very close to the mark. So benchmark 1 performance, so that's about a stable careers program. The challenge for us is that something like 87, I'll show you the figures, but 87% of schools are really almost there. But actually but it looks at who's actually there. So it looks like we're not performing very well, but actually, or we're only performing okay nationally. But actually, it's a really small percentage to push them all to 100%. So the focus this term, through team and through facilitation sessions with the team is to identify, or we've identified under that sub-benchmark data, we know that undertaking evaluations of what parents, young people and children, teachers think about the programme and their engagement is part of the challenge. So what we're doing is a big workshop with the team actually next week that focuses on, here's some really good tools, here's the ones that work, what are your challenges, and then we're going to push those almost theirs over the line, because that's an easy one to do while the schools are at this sort of challenging time. Benchmark 3 is the where we're looking for those 3-year destination data. Schools, I think I've spoken to you all about this before, schools aren't statutorily required to collect 3 years, they're only actually required to collect 2. So a Gatsby benchmark needing them to collect 3 is quite hard. So what we're looking at now is how can we use some of our central hub fund money to top up what contracts exist that pay for that currently, because that will drive a Gatsby benchmark, and it's not statutory, so I can use central hub fund money. Conversations continue with the pay index around the app that will tell a young person around what they can expect if they go into an apprenticeship, into university, what the career progression looks like, what the pay looks like, what they might pay locally for accommodation, etc. Those conversations are ongoing, and I've arranged for to speak to another hub this week, Leeds City Region, and a UniConnect partner, Next Step Southwest, and also the Leeds City Region UniConnect partner, Shaping Futures, about their experience, because they've literally in the throes of negotiation. And then we're going to organise a demo for some key career leaders to come on board, see what they really think, and then really get the buy-in of schools to go ahead and use central hub fund money to provide that, purchase that software. And I think all things to do with claims and reporting to the CEC are online and in line with expectations. Timescales, steering group's very pleased with the work that we're doing. So I don't think that I had anything else to share with the group, unless anybody's got any questions.
Victoria, it's Debbie. I'm keen to pick up and see whether or not any of your team have had much feedback in terms of, obviously the schools are on curriculum recovery, and how are they finding it, particularly with, obviously there's been a lot of information in the press about the schools, vaccines, etc. So how have you had any feedback from the schools?
Yeah, so we have had quite a lot of feedback from the schools. I mean, what we're trying to do, Debbie, just to put it in context, is to support the schools in the way that's helpful to them. So we want to be that friend to them, but also obviously there's a job to do around ensuring that, you know, we maintain, I'm sorry, I'm just going to pick up another paper, that we maintain focus on the areas that that we're set out to do, but being mindful of the difficult situation that in. So I'd say one of the things that schools are reporting is the challenges around the amount of information. Jason and I were talking about this before everybody joined us, is the amount of information that schools are being given in instruction in reaction to, as the pandemic unfolds, as more information is revealed, as the government get more data, the instructions for schools change, and that's quite fluid, and they have to react to that first and foremost. One of the other challenges for schools is the vulnerable cohort, so those young people that, you know, really are better off in school, making sure they're okay, and then looking after the key worker children. So what we're finding is young careers leaders in particular actually are being given tasks that perhaps aren't necessarily associated with their role, just like all the other members of a school team. A bit like the videos that we did for this group. You know, we're using people in different ways. And schools are no different. So I would say, yeah, schools are telling us they're very busy. They are challenged by what's going on. They've got their own sickness absence to manage too. A lot of teachers out with COVID, a lot out with stress. You know, so resources capacity in that way is down as well. Does that help, Debbie?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
I didn't say actually the other focus this term, obviously, which two members of the team talked about, is our virtual work experience offer with Speakers for Schools, which is very exciting, and also our virtual career fair. So, but as I say, members of the team are going to come and talk to you about that. And from a comms perspective, the big one is the Enterprise Advisor campaign, the national campaign that many of you have already liked and shared our images and feeds through Twitter and LinkedIn. So thank you.
I think just to add to what Victoria said about schools as well, I think that while schools are managing all this curriculum catch up and dealing with COVID and so on, I think they are conscious about this impact of home learning and the gap between the disadvantaged and those who've got support, and also how ready young people will be to make their next step post 16, whether that's into continued learning or whether that's into an apprenticeship or whatever it might be. So I think there's an awareness of what young people are going through, and that it's going to be difficult for this cohort for a couple of years. So that's, I think, obviously something we're all aware of and trying to work on, whether in the Careers Hub ourselves or yourselves as employers. I think it is something to be addressed going forward.
Yeah.
What I did forget to mention at the start of the meeting was that we have rejigged the agenda slightly. So sorry, Victoria's probably thrown into her update before she's expecting it there. The debate around parental engagement, we've decided to leave till a bit later, partly because we're just working more on engaging directly with parents now across a number of partners. So we want to give that time to see how they respond. And also because we've got an interesting national update from the Careers Enterprise Company to come later in the agenda. So the next bit from now, but it's probably 10 minutes before your team are ready for it, Victoria, I don't know if they're okay to come in, would be looking at those theme 4 priorities. You're on mute.
I just need to, because running alongside of this is a CC running a regional, Susie's running a regional update, which they're both in, so they're stepping out of that to join us. So if you can just give me a couple of minutes, Chair, I'll see if I can get hold of them and ask them to join us early. Thank you.
Alison Bond from the Careers Enterprise Company will join us later on at, I think, nearer 12. Excuse me a moment, I've just got a call here. Sorry, homeschooling going on here too.
Do you find, Andrew, that your offer, do you have the printer for the whole house next to you?
It's very noisy.
My printer's here.
Yeah, it is. I've got it just here. And
over this next hour and a bit, you might see my son walk past, or my daughter walk past, moaning that the prints haven't gone in. That's a daily activity.
Instructed to turn the video off and that happens.
Yes.
So how are things with customers at the moment with this lockdown? Is it people obviously not been able to get into branch and that kind of thing?
You'll find that customers that want to come in or who feel that they, everybody is different and everybody feels that what they need to do is important. Whether it is another matter, but it gives the opportunity for Jason and his colleagues to give them some options. But let's just say we're not being as harsh as HSBC with our message, put it that way. If somebody wants to come in and has made the effort, then we'll tackle the customer in the appropriate way of giving them other options, but we'll do whatever they need. but just try and help them understand how to keep themselves safe. And we're still doing
that's social engagement for the day, isn't it?
Well, yeah, exactly. I'd say 70 to 80% of people that walk in our branches at the moment, and Jace can clarify this, he likes to think it's slightly higher in Newton Habit, but 70 to 80% of people that walk in our branches at the moment would fall into the category of vulnerable, or need our support because they're not confident that they're going to do it themselves. So we're having some lovely conversations, but of course, like many banks, between 2 and 4, we phone all our vulnerable customers day in, day out to check how they are. Do we need to help them in any way, shape or form? And we're supporting our colleagues in our call centres by redirecting calls into branches. So it's really empowered and engaged some of the staff to do new skills. So, yeah. But Jason, anything else you'd have had?
Just to, I guess echo your comments around the customers that visit our branches. It's, I guess the lockdown is designed that those people specifically shouldn't be coming in, but quite often, as you say, Andrew, it's literally the only interaction they have, either on a daily or weekly basis. So we are fully aware that those customers do need our attention, and despite, I guess, best efforts on education and trying to help them keep safe and supporting them in other ways to bank, particularly the older generation just will not change, and we're here for them as and when. But the kind of vulnerable calls is really good. It's a really rewarding task to be able to speak to customers.
Yes, good service.
Yeah, it's really good, actually, really good. We've done it since lockdown 1 now, haven't we, Stuart? So it's something that's become almost second nature rather than a nice to do, if that makes sense.
Excellent. I see Sandra is with us now, so we're able to move to the next part of the agenda. So Sandra is going to talk us through on the supporting themes and priorities for the Cornerstone plan, and in particular looking at the Careers Leader Conference that's coming up.
Yeah, so actually I'm the Careers Fair, that's me. Claire will be here in a second. I'm happy to carry on with mine unless Claire wants to go first.
Good morning.
Morning.
Do you want to go first, Sandra?
Andrew, it's up to you.
You're muted, Andrew.
So we have Careers Fair first up on the agenda. So
that's perfect. That's me. Okay.
That's Sandra.
I'm going to try and share my screen if my broadband will allow. Let's just see.
Great. Well done.
Can you see that? Yeah. Right, okay. So the Heart of the Southwest Virtual Careers Fair, we're working with Learn by Design. They're an educational provider. They're used to delivering these sort of workshops. They usually deliver them virtually, but also practically. So they're used to delivering in schools. They're a well-known learning provider. So they're professional in their field, so that they've really helped us along the way with this. So this is our Careers Fair. So, there we go. So the background really is that we wanted to create something to support schools during the lockdown, during this virtual experience, because schools are finding it extremely difficult. We wanted to remove that pressure, and while we're producing one, we can share it across the whole of our patch. So we're putting that effort in where we can share it with the whole 160 schools, which is amazing. So we're looking at putting information together from local, national employers and a range of colleges, universities to showcase businesses, any apprenticeships, T-levels, work experience, all that sort of thing that schools can get involved with on a virtual basis to support students with their career learning and make those important decisions about their future pathways. I think, you know, one of the really crucial bits of everything at the moment is that lack of face-to-face, and the students are finding it really difficult with all the virtual learning. So the more interactive we can make it, the better, and that's definitely what we want to achieve with this careers fair. So like I say, there's plenty of opportunities for business to get involved. That's our ask. We want it to be interactive. We want quizzes, challenges, questions, all sorts of things, but also there will be some live sessions where we're hopefully asking some employers to be part of a panel where they can showcase either apprenticeships or some sort of their business, what their sector, what they deliver, and it will be based over 3 days. So it will run from like sort of 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but broken down into sessions. So we're recommending schools probably spend an hour or 2 hours at the fair itself, and then allow the students to have an opportunity to experience one of the live sessions either in the morning or in the afternoon. And we focused on the 3 days, splitting it out into the different age groups, because we thought that was probably the easiest ways for schools to manage. If they're sharing equipment or they're sharing staff, that tends to be the easiest way to manage in schools, and they're used to doing that. So we've split it out into those 3 days. And there is also going to be an open evening for parents. So we're hoping that schools will promote this with their parents, their students will go home, their children will talk to their parents, and they'll get them involved. So hopefully there will be that opportunity. And that is something that's very important, I think, in this particular time. Parents are more understanding, I think, at the moment about, you know, the virtual offer and wanting to get involved. There's going to be lots of preparation materials. So we're working on resources for schools targeted at the different age groups, so they will have different activities, different resources to use, but schools will appreciate that because that is all done for them. So we're working on that now, but schools will be prepped in advance. We'll do a pre and post evaluation, so hopefully schools will feel they have everything in order to be able to get involved. We want to make it as easy as we possibly can for schools to be able to have every student involved if possible. So the exhibitors guide, what would we like from employers? Well, absolutely, we need your support, please. You know, the more the better. We're aiming at ages 7 to 13. So years 7 to 13, so that's age 11 to 18. So we wanted to cover that whole remit. As part of the Gatsby benchmark, students are supposed to have one employer interaction every year they're at school to meet that benchmark 5. So in order to try and engage as many students, we've opened it up to the largest age range we can. And those initial interactions with employers are just so crucial for our young people, start to get them thinking about their futures, the opportunities, the learning opportunities and pathways. So that is why we wanted to get as many involved as possible, taking place over those 3 days. So there's going to be 3 levels of engagement. We're going to send out the employer guide. All the help will be there. There's 3 levels for you to be able to get involved. So the first level of engagement is very basic. Your company information, your logo, maybe a company video, just general company media that is quite easy to upload. You don't have to be there on the day. It's just to showcase your sector, your business, but to get your name out there and get those students recognizing your name and knowing what you do, what your business does, what sector you're in. The second level is all of that, plus either a mini challenge. So maybe you could set a quiz, a questionnaire, coding challenge. Maths challenges are usually quite popular with working out volume, quantity, etc. And that can be adapted to a lot of businesses. So mini challenge would be great, or if you're unable to do that, maybe you could join us on a live panel session. So that would be sitting on a panel, answering questions maybe about your sector or your business, maybe about apprenticeships, but we've got lots of help and support that we can get out to businesses to help them put something together. So it's not too onerous, but it's an either or. And I think then, you know, obviously the gold level is level 3. If you can engage in all those activities, that would be absolutely amazing. And we're hoping that some employers will be able to do that for us. The more the merrier, like I say, but you know, to give that students the really impactful opportunity and that meaningful engagement with employers is just so critical, and it's getting more so. So the more we can do to get these students involved and engaged, then the better. So I hope that's sort of been a whistle-stop tour of what we're hoping to achieve and a general overview. If you've got any questions, I will try to answer them.
Thank you, Sandra. Any questions about that virtual career?
Hi, it's
Go on, sorry.
It's Becca from Wessex. Actually, I was just about to say that seems really feasible for most people, I would have thought. So from a Wessex point of view, answering the fact file, having some company media, and even the mini panel, the mini challenge and the live panel all seem like, for us in terms of where we're at, that seems something we can achieve. So no, I like it. I like it. It looks good.
Thank you. I mean, that's what we wanted. We want to make it as easy as possible. We don't want this to be onerous for employers. We want to make it as easy as possible. The company we're working with, we've even put together a script. So if you're struggling as a presentation or what you want to say, we've got a script together that we can help you with. They're very supportive, and they've done this before. They know what they're doing. So all the support will be there, and you know, we're happy to engage and help you as much as we can.
I think there was another question.
Yeah, I've got one as well.
Go ahead, Debbie.
So Sandra, when have you got a date for the parents' evening yet?
It will be one of those evenings after that, the 3 days. So it'll either be the 27th, the 28th, or the 29th. We haven't actually set that date yet. We just want to get out as much information as possible to start with. I think that will also depend on how many employers sign up and where the bulk of the employers want to attend, if they want to split out that resource, because we want to give, you know, the biggest attendance to when we can encourage the parents to attend with their students. So likely to be the middle day, but not yet decided.
Okay, thank you.
Just from unfortunately somebody's just come to my door and nobody else wants to answer it, so that's the joys of being the only one on the ground floor. Just from a point of view of gaining commitment, Sandra, when do you need to understand whether we're in or not?
Yeah, so the whole package, we've got a list of employers that we send out save the date to, so we've got that on our system, but we will need everything in place by the 26th of March. The sooner you can get back to us and say, right, yeah, we're definitely interested, put us down, the better, but definitely by middle of Feb, end of Feb, and then you will have to the 26th of March to put that information together, upload anything we need, and we'll be in contact with you about that.
Would it be your email address, Sandra, that people should respond to?
Yeah, so the email needs to go to, on the slide, it was events@learnbydesign.co.uk, but we can get that all out to you. I can send it to Victoria and maybe put in the minutes or something. Yeah.
I'll just tentatively commit, because having spoken to our learning team, there are some exciting stuff coming up that we will have in plenty of time for that. We've got plenty of videos that will be really exciting, and I think we take all of our apprenticeships and graduates in October and November. So this is a timely for people to start understanding what's available and what's on our site, but also we effectively, we won't be taking probably any apprenticeships into what most people would think as the bank, i.e. frontline, because it's all into tech, into financial crime, and into corporate, to support all of that, because that's obviously, as you probably can appreciate, financial crime is unfortunately growing exponentially. So all the apprenticeships this year are non-traditional banking, so it'll be useful to make sure people understand that.
Definitely, and that is what all this is about. It's about getting those young people to understand the industry and what that means, because banking to them probably means the high street bank, and that isn't what it is anymore. So I think the more information and sharing that sort of the opportunities available will be absolutely invaluable.
As well as that, for those that are kind of I guess 16 plus and have bank accounts, etc., there are through the Santander website, and they're free to anybody to attend, scam workshops and scam sessions, which are all done virtually now. We used to do those in branch, but obviously we can't do that anymore, so they're all done virtually, and they're all on the Santander website for students, adults to attend, to start understanding, as Stuart said, a bit about financial crime and what to avoid. We are seeing a huge increase in fraud. One yesterday, £10,000 we stopped for a customer, and that's, you know, weekly at least. And that, if you times that by 26 branches in Stuart's region, that's a whole lot of money. So by all means, feel free to share with regards to, you know, everyone here and all your connections with regards to what the website can offer with regards to scam education, etc.
Yeah, great, thank you. We'll share that with schools.
Henry, I saw you had your hand up earlier. I don't know if your question's been answered.
No, I was just wondering, Sandra, if there's an opportunity for employers to piggyback the event and offer more, which is, I know, is not what people normally ask. But by that I mean, I personally really enjoy offering one-to-one kind of 20-minute conversation with students to answer any questions. Is there therefore a chance maybe to engage with schools in advance of the programme, where they can perhaps book on to sessions that employers might want to have a satellite to the main event?
Right, so what we've discussed at the moment, this has come up from the Plymouth manufacturing group as well. So what we thought would be on offer, if employers wanted to go down that route, there would be something on your virtual stand that would say, you know, if parents, students want more information, want to have a one-to-one discussion, there would be a booking form on that stand, so that any interest then they would contact you direct, and you can manage that with them and their parent. I think, you know, the whole safeguarding issue and that type of thing, we need to be very careful of, but with parental consent and the parent there at the time, that is probably the safest way to do that.
That sounds like a good solution. Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Sandra. Are there any more questions on the careers fair side of things? And are we okay to send the careers fair presentation afterwards, Sandra?
I will do, yeah, thanks. You'll have to send that through to Victoria. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks, Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra.
So now the other activity coming up is the Virtual Careers Leaders Conference, and Claire is going to tell us about that.
Yeah, hello, good morning, everybody. Apologies, I haven't got any fancy slides like Sandra has, so I'm just going to talk through where we're at with the Careers Leader Fair conference. So back in November, we ran our first virtual conference, which was very successful. And so we are looking now to run another spring conference for the careers leaders. So this is a bit different to the Careers Fair, because this is aimed at the careers leaders within the school and the teachers. So the Careers Leader Conference will be on Tuesday the 18th of May, and it will run from 9:30 until 1:30. Again, we're going to use the Hop-in platform that we used last time, because it was a really successful platform. It was very easy to access and move around to the different areas as well. So I don't know if any of you know that platform, but you know, we thought it was fantastic. So the conference will have been made up of keynote speakers. We'll have a live panel discussion. The topic of the conference was we're going to sort of theme it looking to the future, because we think it's important for careers leaders to know what's out there for their young people post-COVID. So we'll have an expo zone, and that will be an opportunity for employers to have a stand. And again, a bit like Sandra said, you can either populate that stand by links to websites, or have videos running, or links to resources, and brand it up so that it could show your company. or within the expo zone, you can actually be live on the stand, so that if somebody comes up to your stand, you can actually have a live conversation like we're having now with them. And that worked really well back in November for the people that did that live on the day. I know some employers had a few issues, but we have somebody technical to sort that out on the day. The other areas that we have within the platform is a live networking zone, and that worked really well, where participants kind of went into the zone and were paired up randomly with somebody else who was also in the zone, and they had 2 minutes to do some speed networking, and it was really good fun, and we got some really positives from that. So again, that's another way of being able to connect with people and build your network. We'll have a live panel discussion, and also what we're going to do differently next time is we're going to run some workshops for the careers leaders. So what we'd like to do is run a 20-minute workshop and repeat that 4 times throughout the event. And that will be an opportunity for careers leaders to come along and interact with you. So you can invite people onto the screen, up to 6 people onto the screen, and interact with them. More people can be watching, but the sort of limitations of the platform is that you can only have 6 people on the screen at any one time. So the workshops we would like to aim at sort of giving teachers a bit of CPD really, or giving them some knowledge. So Henry, you were just talking about being able to let people know about what your offer is, or that you could go into school and run some workshops. Well, you could actually run a workshop for teachers so that they could then find out, you know, more about you and then invite you into the schools. I'd say you could have, if you wanted to run a workshop, you can run PowerPoint slides or videos within that workshop. And again, we would have the technical support available to guide you through how you could run that workshop, how you can set it up. We would do some pre-conference training with you if about using the platform and running a workshop. So yeah, that's, I guess, really what I'm asking today is, you know, would you be interested in running a workshop, or having a stand on in our expo zone, and even possibly being part of our live panel discussion? So I will get some information out to you. We're in the very early stages at the moment, so that's why I haven't got any fancy slides like Sandra has. But I will get something to Victoria so that she can share that with you. And again, if you're interested, we'll have the contact details there of how you can get involved and come to me or Victoria to ask some further details. Okay, any questions?
I just wanted to add that rather than, I think it'd probably be good for you, for the Cornerstones that wanted to be engaged, to work directly with the team, rather than, you know, come through me to go to the team. I think it'd be nice for you to interact directly, because, you know, that would speed things up, and also it's nice for you to have relationships with other members of the hub team and see how fantastic they all are.
Thanks, Victoria and Claire. Claire, can I just ask a question?
Yes.
I did attend the last Careers Leaders Conference, and I remember seeing the expo. I'm just trying to think what was in there, and I know the audience is the careers leaders, not the young people.
Yeah.
But would employers still put in there perhaps resources that those careers leaders themselves might share on to the young people? So the careers type stuff.
Yeah, I guess the whole point of the conference is to kind of upskill the careers leaders with what your offer is for students, so that they can go away, see what you've got for students, and then go away with your contact details, so that they know then that they could potentially build that into their careers program within school.
So potentially something that you prepare for the Which Way conference, the careers fair, could also be used here.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I can see people are popping in the chat there. They're happy to help, Claire. And I guess if we save this chat at the end, Victoria, then we can share that. You've got a note who's committed so far. And
fantastic.
As you share the more detail later on, more people will be able to come back to you.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks both. Sorry to pull you out of, I know you're in a big regional event, but I know you were both very keen to come and talk to the Cornerstone. So really big thank you from me.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks very much.
So it's been great to get that introduction for those upcoming activities from Sandra and Claire, because what that does is feeds into the actual plan that you're all delivering against. And I don't know if you have this on your screen now, folks, or whether I can share mine, and then you'll be able to see it. So the next bit of the agenda is just to look at this 4 themes plan. Just a quick refresher of where we're at. We don't intend to go through it blow by blow. I'll attempt to share it.
I've got it available, Chair, if you want me to share. Oh, no, he's doing it.
I think I've managed it. Are you seeing that? Are you seeing the 4 screens plan? Themes plan? Yeah, fantastic. So I'll just look at the headlines of the themes we're supposed to start with. There's the targeting bit, which is about making sure that nobody is left behind. So a lot of this is for vulnerable learners, whether it's special educational needs or whether care leavers. And I know that you've done some great work on that. Victoria, did you want to just sort of outline where we're up to in terms of releasing things and so on?
Yeah,
videos that people contributed to?
I think just firstly, a huge thank you actually, because a lot of work has been done, and I've found it quite, I think one of the challenges with this plan is keeping it up to date, because it's like a static document and it doesn't really accurately reflect what's been going on particularly well, but it is meant to be a framework that guides us. So you will have seen that we released the videos around the COVID journey, and alongside of that, you'll have also hopefully noticed how they were really well branded and we had digital assets. And that's because we were able to commission Somerset EBP, the organisation that Andrew heads up, to actually work with us to provide the resources and the digital assets so that careers leaders literally can, well, one, we can promote them really easily through and distinguish them through social media, but also careers leaders, more importantly, rather than just getting a video and saying, oh, look, this is an employer, why don't you do something with your students? It's here's a video, here's the resources, this is how you use it, these are the questions, these are the worksheets, and it's all downloadable, plug and play. So they've been really popular. So just wanted to really acknowledge that. Other work that's done is some work around LMI for special educational needs. So Andrew, at the moment, we're just about to sign off some more resources and videos associated with, you know, the kind of jobs that we know that young people in or send young people may want to explore and to bring to life those roles. Obviously, the workplace visits, that's not going to happen, but what we'd hope is that through you supporting the events that we've talked about, the Speakers for Schools, the virtual work experience, the careers fairs, all of those kind of things are going to bring to life the ambitions that we have around helping young people have meaningful access to the workplace. And then the other one is the identified work-related tasks. We're still kind of working through that. There has been some work done, and there are other organisations that we're talking to that actually where we feel that they're producing resources that actually would really work well if within the SEND environment. So there's other work going on about that around that particular theme. But I think Andrew and I met yesterday to talk through the agenda and these things, and we feel that as a group, you've kind of done what we hope to do around this agenda item. I think the only thing for me would be whether we can ever get back any more information as you move through your journeys around inclusive recruitment, neurodiversity support in the workplace, and that we can continue to share that with the schools to inform young people in education about what they can expect. And actually, I know Debbie and Becca were on the call on the event with Careers and Enterprise Company last week, where we were shown a fabulous video about neurodiversity and the young person's role. And it's kind of those kind of things. How can we make sure that we keep that particular message about those vulnerable groups going? But I think the next focus, if anything, would be just around young people that are vulnerable because they're in a pupil referral unit. Perhaps that might want to be a focus. But I think overall, I think it's done a brilliant job on this.
Thanks, Victoria. Does anyone around the screen have any questions about that targeting and vulnerable students, or anything further that they'd just like to contribute now? Well, if not, I'll just jot down. So thanks from Victoria, first of all, to everyone for their contribution. And then secondly, you know, if people do have anything that they know is coming forward, either around students in alternative provision, referral units, or around the support that their organisation is providing for neurodiversity, and we obviously had a great input from Babcock last time, then please do send that to Victoria. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next theme now. So reach, more business connections to education. We've just heard from Claire and Sandra, and effectively what I think we're trying to do this as well in our work as Somerset Education Business Partnership is try and make it easier for people at the moment to make these connections by providing solutions that people can just buy into. So the Careers Fair and the Careers Leads Conference are really platforms there for your organisations just to pop something into without having to create anything new, and which hopefully you can involve a wider group of colleagues in. So perhaps that's just food for thought there in terms of when you contribute to those two things, who might you be able to involve? Is there anything further on that, Victoria?
Just to add, really, Chair, thank you, that this reach piece should really be one of the easiest kind of ones to do, but also it's like the kind of bit bread and butter of the role of a cornerstone, really. So it's interesting that it's actually a target that it's almost like we should put some activity around it, but actually it's just that thing about this is what it is to be an EA and making people aware of that opportunity. Telling staff. So I know Wessex, I'm going to give a bit of a shout out to Wessex on here because they've done some work to promote the EA opportunity, which is bought for, and I know a number of you are already doing this, but you know, Wessex have managed to identify 2 people recently that are interested in the EA role, and that's fantastic. That is you know, making the people within your organisation aware of the opportunity. But the other one is just sharing the fact that you're a cornerstone with your networks, sharing it with your supply chains, with your neighbours, friends, anybody who actually you think might be able to spread the word about the role that the Careers Hubs do, and in particular the role of the cornerstones and the role of enterprise advisors. We'll be sharing those gaps. We anticipate losing EAs. You know, there will be some churn as a result of the pandemic, undoubtedly. However, I'd like to think that the work that we're doing as a group means that, you know, we can quickly address that, and you know, with the campaign. The other big way you can support us at the moment with this theme is just to keep re-sharing, liking all the stuff that we're doing around the EA recruitment campaign. And you'll see that the national collateral that CEC provided, we're very lucky that Nikki, senior EC in Plymouth, partner, husband, is a digital person, and he brands everything to make it local for us here in the Hotsworth. So, you know, please like and share. And that's kind of it, really. Just support us, really. The reach to businesses is really about getting more businesses involved and getting us more enterprise advisors to work with our schools.
Thanks, Victoria. And then sustainability bit of that really is just once you've got them started, keeping them going and linking in with the schools and seeing how it's working for the schools. And I think that really is reported more through your steering group, isn't it, Victoria, rather than by this group. Really, it's the feedback you get from the schools on the benefit they're getting.
It's huge. And I mean, I know now, yeah, the value is enormous. It's just difficult at this time because one thing that some EAs are saying is, we really want to help, please keep us busy. There's not, you know, you're not engaging with us, but schools are in a difficult place. And what we're doing, actually another thing that we're doing, which is why having these 3 themes works so well, and hopefully you'll have seen why we're doing it like that with the information that was presented under what is events and engagement by Sandra and Claire. But what we're looking at is, okay, so we've got some EAs that perhaps aren't being fully utilised by their nominated school, getting them together and saying, right, what can we work on together that will benefit wider schools? You know, you might not be able to do that one-to-one right now with your named nominated school, but collectively, what can you do? So we're looking at that kind of work too.
Are people comfortable that the plan is progressing? Are people happy that they're able to contribute? Oh, Victoria, you're on mute.
Sorry, one more thing, just under sustainability, obviously the work that you're doing to support the Careers Leader Conference ticks up on our work around CPD for teachers. And the other thing that we want to do in the fullness of time, and I say we haven't got that much time, but you know, just bear with me, is that the Central Hub Fund money that we are able to use, we will be looking at how can we use some of that funding to deliver CPD for teachers. And at that point, I would see that as being something, again, we would be looking to you for some support with ideas, whatever. So sorry, Chair, that just wanted to add that in.
That's okay. I think where we're trying to get to is to keep ourselves honest on the plan, and we will update it again for next time, but at the same time not overburden you with having to think through what might we do. So if Victoria's team continue to create frameworks that you can then pop your work into and share with them with colleagues, we're hoping that's the way forward. Is there anything anyone would like to sort of ask about that or suggest or throw forward? Yours in the chat there, CPD for
Tom, that's fantastic. Yeah, we'll certainly promote that. I mean, that's amazing.
So do share anything that you are offering and you're aware that you're doing with Victoria's team, and it all, you know, makes an impact on that plan, and particularly where you're engaging other colleagues. That's the really important bit as well, is involving more people so they understand how your organisation is contributing. I'm just going to flick back to the agenda on my screen. So we've got more time than we perhaps thought we did have, Victoria. So we could potentially put that discussion back on around parental engagement.
I think so. Because it wasn't just about parental engagement. I think that one of the frustrations around for organisations, and unfortunately BAMS are not here to contribute, but I know Tom had some views on this, is not just about parental engagement with the virtual office. It's about, Tom, am I right? And it's about some of your experiences around actual levels of engagement. Thank you, Henry.
Yeah, so Lisa, Andrew, Julie and I had spoken probably about a month ago now, 6 weeks ago, about just, you know, activities were being marketed, and yeah, there wasn't a great sign up. So we thought, okay, well, what can we do about this? What is the issue? And obviously we go very very strongly in terms of marketing to teachers and CIAG leads, but actually, are we doing enough with parents and carers, especially as you know, with the homeschooling situation, etc., and just them just being an enabler in their own right. So you know, we just had a conversation, and then what came out to that was the parental alert system, which is on the EBP page. You know, in its infancy, but you know, hopefully over the coming months, the population will grow, the database will grow on the alert system, and in essence, it's just a newsletter. And correct me if I'm wrong, Andrew, but pushing out to parents and carers opportunities directly to them, and hopefully, you know, that should, in theory, drive a bit more engagement to activities that are being delivered across the patch. That's the hope.
I think the drop is that with things moving virtually, a lot of employers have done really well at creating things, but then there's a lot for young people out there. So I know, just speaking as a parent, that my daughter, she does her school day, and then she's still got stuff to do after her school day from school, because it's so hard to get through the curriculum. And then if they want to spend any time somehow virtually with friends or whatever, the time that's left to engage in anything wider is limited. And it's the same, you know, discussing about whether work experience should be during term time or should it be during the holidays when young people want the time to themselves. It's actually quite hard to cut through all that to get that engagement. So it's trying to work out how we can get the message out there, get through beyond YouTube, get through beyond however young people spend their time on screens, and really make sure that the great offers out there are actually being utilised. So I guess the discussion's fine. Have any of you cracked that, or have any of you found that you've got the levels of engagement you want?
I think it's Becca from Wessex. Sorry, I haven't got my camera on. I've got a funky eye and I'm not prepared to share it with everybody. So I really need a patch. But so I think from our side of things, you know, I think there's things that we need to remember, especially as larger companies, is that we're actually full, like you just said, of parents, and we've seen that today, haven't we? You know, Andrew's been talking about it. Stuart looks like he's about to, you know, lose the plot with his, you know, you know. So I think there are a lot of parents in our businesses. So as employers, actually, we've already got a target audience. You know, so Wessex is just shy of 3,000 of us, and I suspect some 2,000 are parents. And so what we're going to do during National Apprenticeship Week, bearing in mind that we've got a significant number of parents and if not parents, influencers, I do believe they're called nowadays, yeah, is that we've also got, Eva will tell me because I always get it wrong, 2.4 million customers. So we're going to start to, for National Apprenticeship Week, we're going to do, we have lunch and learns, learn at lunches internally, and we're going to do one, and it's not about apprenticeships at Wessex. Our internal one is understanding the education landscape in 2021 for post-16s. Yeah, so what is an 8 equivalent to? What the hell is a T level? Yeah, what are my options? So we've done some work around, for us as engineers, getting towards chartership, and there's now approximately something like 21 different routes to chartership from GCSE now. You know, so we're going to do and kind of very much focus on that. So we are going to do a lunch and learn during National Apprenticeship Week, and we're also going to do a webinar that we're going to promote to our customers, so that our customers can dial in and learn about apprenticeships at Wessex. And we've got a young talent pipeline campaign coming on board on the 8th of Feb. But we're going to do a live feed during National Apprenticeship Week to promote that as well. To kind of get to the parents as much as to get to the young people.
Excellent. Thanks, Becca. Some great ideas there. Yeah, looking at both your customers and your workforce as people who can get those young people. And I can see that Debbie has a different approach, which you're happy to share.
Yes, yeah. So we've delivered our first parents' evening. Never done that before, and the reason why we decided to do it was ordinarily, well, every year we do our work experience and we get hundreds of applications, and normally by December we have done the sifting and the young people know who have been successful and who haven't. Well, by the beginning of January we had about 8 applications, so we've done a lot of engagement with the careers advisors. We were working with Nikki Henderson, and we've been working directly with the schools to understand, and they were quite honest, and they said, look, we're in curriculum recovery, if you can help us, that's great. So we decided to actually hold a parents' evening, and wasn't sure how it would be received. We had over 90 people attend, and it was really good because actually the level of engagement we had from parents was phenomenal. We had really positive feedback. It gave parents an insight to what is engineering, and it broke down a lot of stereotypical myths about the fact that engineering is for males. It allowed parents to ask a lot of questions, and we had really positive feedback on the back of it. That our work experience, we had over 30 applications put through on the back of that call, and we've actually been requested now to do more. So yesterday we delivered one during the day, because again, parents have said because they're homeschooling, they're happy to take an hour out of their day to listen, because actually it benefits them and it benefits their children. So we're now going down the realms of delivering more virtual events to really promote the apprenticeship opportunity, but more importantly, engineering, because there is a lot of work we have to do with engineering across the whole of the UK. But yeah, it was very much a trial, but we were really pleased with how positive it went.
And can I ask Debbie how you communicated that opportunity out? Did you go through the schools?
Yeah,
or?
it was basically a blend. So we worked really closely with Nikki Henderson. We worked closely with the schools directly through their careers advisors. And we put it out on bulletins internally, because exactly what Becca said, we've got a high number of parents, so they spread the word as well. So it was a blend of different approaches that we used. LinkedIn, so you'll probably see on LinkedIn there is a high number of adverts going out at the moment, just really showcasing. We've used Facebook, but in all honesty, Facebook for young people is quite old.
Yeah.
But we can't use Snapchat. That's a step too far at the moment for us.
Yeah. Instagram?
Not really, but which is very bizarre, because actually Instagram and Facebook are owned by the same company. But I do, and from what I can understand, they have done some targeting on Instagram, but it's more programmatic targeting. So that's way above my knowledge, in all honesty. But yeah, it's mainly Facebook and LinkedIn that we're using.
Thanks, Debbie, and thanks, Becca, for your earlier ones. So I think we've got 2 new approaches there to sort of driving up engagement, which are helpful. Don't know if anybody else has other things they'd like to share. See, Joe has just joined us from Devon County Council. This is a discussion around making sure we get the engagement we need from young people and parents. So you're muted, Victoria.
I'm doing that thing only I do, where I'm excited and doing something and smiling and looking like I'm talking, when in fact I wasn't. I was just replying thank you to Eva, who's very kindly offered to summarise what they're doing during National Apprenticeship Week, so that I can share it with you all. So apologies, Andrew, I was just doing my Victoria face pulling.
No problem, thank you. I can see we're ahead of the agenda again, which is a nice place to be, apart from when the next person due to speak isn't here. But what I'm going to suggest at this moment, and I've heard this is good practice anyway, is we all need to get up and move anyway for 2 minutes. So I don't know if we're at, oh, here's Alison now, just joining us. But,
Hi there.
But just give Alison 2 minutes to get settled. So if anyone just wants to get up and shake a leg, and we'll come back in just 2 minutes, and then we'll all be fresh to hear Alison's update.
Thanks, Andrew. Sorry, I'm slightly late.
No, that's absolutely fine, Alison.
I was just running another webinar, so just hopped off that one.
It is one of those days when there's just 3 different things going on at once. So,
Absolutely. I'm just going to practice sharing my screen, if that's okay.
Yeah, you carry on.
Am I next on?
You are next on, yes. It's the national update next.
All right.
We're slightly ahead on the agenda, which is great.
Hey, that's nice. Hi, Victoria.
Hello, Alison.
Nice to see you.
And you, always.
Thank you. Just been running a session for CEC staff on developing positive emotions in challenging times with my other wellbeing coach hat on.
Oh, okay. Andrew, I think it might be one of the things that I'd kind of forgotten about, and it was only when Debbie mentioned it, that I think we're actually planning on doing a little case study on the Babcock Parents' Evening idea. And if we're not, which I'm sure we are, we will be.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That proved to be a useful agenda item there. Actually got 2 new things coming out, which is helpful.
I just wanted the rest of the group to understand why we were looking at parents particularly, because obviously they weren't in the conversations that we'd had or you'd had with Lisa. But I think targeting parents is obviously really key, isn't it now?
I think I should have said to people, come back by such and such a time.
I'm sure they'll all appear when.
Point for me.
There's Jo.
I am back.
Thank you. Andrew, I can't remember if I told you that Jo is now our named representative for DCC following some changes within the team there about roles and responsibilities. So Jo replaces Sam Mullins on the group.
Excellent. Thanks, Jo. Taking that
Which is
on.
great as well, because obviously Jo's experience as an EA is really valuable.
And our apprenticeship lead as well in the council. So yeah happy to be here.
I realise people are still on mute at the moment, but can I check if we have everyone back? Perhaps you can just pop something in the chat to say, yep, you're here. I think we've still got kettles on probably. Oh, Eva's here. Right, so I think. Okay, I think we're good to go again now. A bit of a chairing lesson for me there is how do you get people back on a Zoom call? That's gone well though, thank you. So over to Alison for the national update.
Yeah, hi, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Apologies that I was late. I was just explaining I was running another webinar, so had to jump off that one quickly and join you. I just wanted to give you an update on the National Cornerstone Employer Picture, just to help you to sort of frame your activity into the bigger context. And so if you'll bear with me, I'll just run through, I think, 4 main things that I want to talk to you about today. Sorry, I'm just having trouble with that's it. So I'm going to talk to you quickly about this. Victoria, have you covered the Skills for Jobs white paper at all? No. Sorry, Andrew, I should have asked.
No, we haven't.
All right, well, that's good, because I don't want to repeat. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, just
I thought that was you actually,
is the Skills for Jobs white paper, which came out last Thursday on the same day as our Cornerstone event, which was serendipity really. And the white paper is the government's renewed strategic approach to careers guidance. I think largely as an organisation, Careers and Enterprise Company is pleased with this white paper. It sets out a real ongoing commitment to developing careers hubs across the country, which is fantastic. And the view is that we would like to have all schools and colleges in a careers hub in the future. So it's great that that's central in this white paper. The other thing I think you'd be interested to hear is that business is going to play an absolute central role, particularly in post-16 proposals. So there's a new initiative of the local skills improvement plans. I don't know much about that at the moment, but obviously that will come out over time. And the white paper sets out the need for that to be strongly driven by employers locally. And also states that employers should take the lead actually on developing technical courses by 2030. So from our perspective, brilliant that employers are really going to have a voice in these reforms. Reform to technical education to elevate status as a spur to tackle productivity and skills gaps. I think we'd all agree that actually technical education has had an elevated status. And apprenticeships have certainly become a much more chosen route for young people, but obviously a lot more to be done there. And then investment in local skills priorities with reference to a new strategic development fund and the enhancement of the Skills and Productivity Board. There's lots more behind that, so I'm going to send out a document via Victoria after this meeting, which will have all of these updates in it, but it'll also have the link to the white paper. So I would recommend reading that. There's some really good stuff in there about the future. Then I just wanted to talk to you about the Business Backing Social Mobility event that we held last week. I'm not sure how many Heart of the Southwest Cornerstone employers were able to make that meeting, a couple I think. So I wanted to enable you to just see what was covered. We had a conference last year, that was the first time we ran it. We aimed to get as many Cornerstones together in a virtual room as possible. We had about 100 Cornerstones there, which was fantastic. And the main themes and the key points included giving young people opportunity, not just outreach, and opportunity really being a right as opposed to a nice to have was a core theme. Lockdown's particularly acute in its effect on disadvantaged communities. We, as a organisation, we're already concerned about supporting social mobility in disadvantaged communities, but COVID, I think, has really kind of widened that gap. We need to remain steadfast in our commitment to young people. We need to redouble our efforts and harness resources and goodwill of many others. And I see that as a key role for the Cornerstone groups, is to really reach out into your networks and into your to the employers that you know, to bring more and more on board to support with this, because as we said, you know, we need to redouble at this point in time. There was a call out to Cornerstone employers. Apologies, because I don't know how this has fitted with the last hour of your conversation, Andrew and Victoria, so apologies if I'm going over anything that you've already covered, but a real call to action to ask employers to support young people with experiences of the workplace for disadvantaged pupils in their communities, because we know that that can really help them with that transition from school into work. And a call out to Cornerstone employers to recruit more and more diverse range of enterprise advisors. I'll come on to enterprise advisors shortly. That's the session. I won't dwell on that now. I'll send the slides through so that you can see. But and again, I know we haven't got time for this now, but the two sessions, the key sessions that were Cornerstones could choose to go to in the conference, were working together to support economic recovery and taking forward lessons learned through COVID-19. There were loads of notes that came out from that, and we will share with Andrew and Victoria to share with you the lessons learned and what Cornerstone employers are doing to support economic recovery. But I think if you would feel like this would be a useful future agenda item, then please let me know, because we can shape a session around looking at these two themes. A couple of things I wanted to mention, and you will have been contacted about this, but I just wanted to remind you, was that we are keen to promote a really strong message following the conference around businesses supporting young people and their job prospects. And there are two really relatively straightforward ways that you as Cornerstone employers can get involved in that, and we'd love it if you did. The first one is to help us showcase the extent of support that the Cornerstone employer community is providing. We're going to do a press release, and we would really like you to give numbers of who you're supporting. You know, how many apprenticeships are you taking on, how many Kickstart places, how many young people on virtual work experience. That's going to build into a big picture for us for a national press release. There's also an opportunity to be a signatory on a letter showcasing businesses' actions. So thank you to everyone who's already contributed to that. And if you haven't, then you had an email from us on the 5th of January, but let me know if you can't find that and you want to contribute, and I will make sure that your voice is included in that press release. We won't be outlining specific numbers from employers, by the way. Two more quick things. The first one was the Enterprise Advisor campaign. Again, apologies if you've already covered this, but we have relaunched a campaign for enterprise advisors called Rewrite the Story, and very keen to target new enterprise advisors, different enterprise advisors, those from different communities, but also younger enterprise advisors as well. There is, in the document I'm going to send round, there's a link to the toolkit, which has all of the social media tools that you need. So again, as Cornerstone employers, we really want you to be bringing your network on board in terms of the enterprise advisor role and making it easy for them to join us. I know we've been talking to Santander off the back of this email this week, and thank you for that. So please do have a look at the link that's in the follow-up document. I'm conscious of time, so the final thing I wanted to mention was we are producing a Benchmark 6 Experiences of the Workplace resource for employers. We're hoping to launch it at the end of March, and I'm working on that resource myself with Engineering UK. If you have any examples yourself, or if you know of people who are doing some great work with blended or virtual workplace experiences at the moment, please would you let me know, because we'd love to showcase them in that resource and help other employers to develop their programs, particularly SMEs who we know sometimes struggle to put together programs. It would be good to have your support on that. So thank you. Not in my slides, but one quick thing I've been asked to tell you is that Rishi Sunak is hosting an event tomorrow via the HM Treasury. It's a virtual panel event about Kickstart programme. It's at 1:30 till 2 o'clock on YouTube tomorrow, and I'll put the link into the chat because we've been asked to advertise it to employers. Your presence would be very much welcomed by the Chancellor. So I'll put that in the chat if any of you have got time to go to that virtual event tomorrow. Thank you.
Thanks, Alison. I can see you've got some responses in the chat already to some of the questions you've asked there. So there's people.
Stop sharing, and then I'll be able to.
There's a few people there anyway, willing to contribute to various things that you've asked for.
Great, fantastic.
But
okay, I'll pick that up. Thank you, Andrew.
Do people have any questions on any of the different items there? Because there's quite a few diverse things in there, so people might want to ask about individual things within there.
Yeah, it's hard for me to know which comments are with which bit, so yeah, that would be useful if anyone's got anything particular.
Alison, I was just going to give you an update with regards to, oh, sorry, Debbie.
No, you go ahead, sorry.
Just an update with regards to the EA recruitment. Stuart and I have been working on that really hard over the last week or so, and reinvigorated the interest. So we've had 2 more responses with regards to our management team, as well as we've opened it up not just to the managers now, but also across our I guess kind of network with regards to all roles and ages, so that people can get involved from a more diverse responsibility segment, if that makes sense. So it's not just a management type activity, it can be any one of the team members here at Santander. So I'll keep you posted with regards to how that goes.
Thank you, and that's fantastic work, Jason, across the whole area as well. I know you've reached out into Cornwall and west of England as well as half the southwest, so that's amazing. Thank you.
Alison, it's Debbie. I was just about to say, if you could definitely share more about the social mobility. So I'm very interested in that, and I know my colleagues are within Babcock, and also I'm happy to support Benchmark 6 because we've got a number of plans in place, and we've got something planned already.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. I'm making a note. Anything else that's in particular response to anything that I've said? As I said, I can see lots of yes pleases and here and here, but is there anything in particular?
Hi, Ali, it's Becca from Wessex.
Hi there, Becca.
Hiya, I can't find the email requesting the numbers. Are you able to resend?
Yeah, I will. I'll put the links in the chat as we're going through the meeting, and I'll resend the email to everyone. So
well, it might just be me.
Is that okay if I just send it to everyone and then you've got it if you want to respond to it?
I didn't see it either, Alison. But just to say, the here's was just Andrew doing a roll call. It's not.
Thanks.
Just for a bit of clarity.
Thanks for clarifying that. Yeah, I was a bit slow there, I think.
It's just we're all very excited to join in, Ali. That's what it is.
Thanks, Becca. I'm pleased to hear it. Okay,
Tom,
I will follow up with all of that as we go through the meeting and just afterwards. Thanks so much, everyone.
Tom, you've popped there that you're happy to share your VUX and Insight programs. Is that about the responding to the email with a letter and the contribution?
No, the point that Alison flagged about Engineering UK.
Yeah, so for the Benchmark 6 resource, Tom.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. Great. Okay, I'll contact you about that. Thank you so much. I think I'd already got you on my list actually, but I'll double check.
Okay.
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you.
Have you got a timescale on your Benchmark resource, Ali?
Yeah, we're going to be starting the. We're going to literally be kicking off putting the resource together next week. So I think over the next 4 weeks, we'd need to hear from people with any examples. Yeah, 4 weeks, I'd say. So by the end of February at the latest.
I'm conscious that the Heart of the Southwest are facilitating a virtual work experience, but it's probably not quite within that time frame, is it, Victoria?
The school speakers for schools, the virtual work experience, were that links in with the Careers and Enterprise Company because that's how we are working with speakers for schools. So I would hope that that's quite joined up from a Careers and Enterprise Company point of view.
Yeah, that's fine. And also, I know you've run 3 sessions for different sectors of employers over the last week.
Yeah.
Ollie went to one today, my team member, and I went to the construction one last week. So
we knew we had to stop the MES one because the SME one didn't have the buy-in that we supported, so we pulled them together. But yeah, I know, and we'll be completing the Google Docs form that's been sent out on this Friday with what we're up to. So yeah, it's quite joined up because the speakers for schools were introduced to Hotsware and loads of other career hubs through an engagement with the Careers and Enterprise Company. But one thing I just wanted to ask, Chair, just going back on something Alison said about the 2 theme cards that came out of the event, or that kind of shaped the event. Would the Cornerstones like to focus on that in a session? Which, if I think about COVID recovery, probably the next time we meet, we might actually be able to start talking more meaningfully about a recovery. We keep talking about a recovery and we're still very much in it. So, but would that be of interest to do that next time? Yeah, okay.
Yes, please.
Great, thank you for that. Victoria, you and I can get together and put something together then and share. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your contributions as ever.
Thanks, Alison. Take care. So I think we've got through the agenda there, Victoria. The hard bit now is trying to summarise where we've got to. So I've got some notes. Victoria's got some notes. Just do a quick run through of that, and if anyone around the screen thinks we've missed anything, please let us know. So just going back to the top, obviously we had the presentations from Sandra and Claire, and we'll have the contact details shared for who you need to get back to contribute to either the Careers Fair or the Careers Leaders Day. We ran through the 4 themes plan and pleased with where we're getting to on the targeting. And maybe the future focus will be more around the alternative provision, vulnerable pupils in pupil referral units rather than SEND, because we've got a lot of stuff launched there now. We've had a good look around the reach and sustainability side, which is about the conversation just been having about EAs really, and engaging your organisations. And some great suggestions there. You will have missed those, Alison, but some approaches that people are already taking. So Wessex Water actually going through, talking to staff about opportunities, and you've obviously discussed with Santander there. Actually got the Wessex Water one wrong. That was more about reaching out to parents and young people rather than the students, rather than EAs. So we've got some good shared practice, I suppose, out of the meeting, which is helpful. And then going forward, we're looking at putting social mobility and recovery on the agenda for the future. Is that correct, Victoria?
Yeah, and just a couple of other points, just to say that we're going to issue the EA gaps to everybody so that we can do some work. I mean, as I said, they are hot off the press and they'll change really quickly because obviously they've already been shared with the steering group to see what they can do. But we're hopeful that will change quickly. Also, I'll be issuing the details of the schools where we haven't been able to secure an MOU, so that anybody who's got an existing relationship through anything, whether it's a governor or as a parent, might be able to influence the importance of getting involved. I'm going to issue the organisational structure that shows those 3 themes that the teams work to, and the table that shows how that's aligned at each level. A quick summary from me that pulls out together what I said earlier. Sandra's slides, the resources that we'd already shared from Santander about their online stuff with our schools, but that we can share with this group as examples of what Santander are doing online. Wessex are going to give me a nice summary of what they're doing during National Apprenticeship Week, so I can share that with you about parental engagement. And I'll try, well, I'm aware of the Babcock Parents Evening because of the work, obviously, with Nikki, but I'm very certain that we'd made a plan to make it as a case study, but if we hadn't, then it has to be done as one if it's not already on the agenda, so I can share that. And then obviously I'll be sharing whatever Alison wants me to share with you as well. But I think really the main thing was that the commitment to Sandra was sort of mid-February, and a big thanks to Wessex, Babcock, Cosmic and EDF for their commitment to the Careers Leader Conference idea and how we're going to support CPD. So I think today's meeting we've really addressed a lot of what was set out in the themes plan.
Excellent. Thanks, Victoria. And we do have AOB to do as well. So what I'm going to ask here is if you just pop your little yellow hand up on the reactions button, if you have any AOB. Oh, yeah, Stuart.
It's just very quick. I know, Debbie, you've been working with Debbie and Karen and my team with regards to educating your new apprentices on effectively how to manage their money, because they might be getting their first pay packet and never understood exactly how to budget. But one of the other things that we do have, and it's that actually Debbie is getting involved with, has been involved with, is Santander events. And these are scam awareness events. They're half an hour long. They have 5,000 capacity to attend because it's virtual. And what they do is they talk about the type of scams, highlighting that a lot of younger people are being targeted, and also the footprint, your digital footprint, and think long and hard around how much you're putting on, because quite frankly, I'm sure Debbie knows, most of them don't have a clue of what impact they're having with some of their social posts. So it just tries, I know it's not directly involved, but we can't employ a number of people because they fail credit checks, and they fail various things because they've been not alert to what the impact of their actions are when they're 17, 18, about the importance of paying their mobile phone bill, for example. So I'm just promoting that because if you go on to santanderevents.co.uk, there's scam awareness events, which, as I say, can take 5,000 people at a time. We're getting just under 1,000 attending most, because a lot of our vulnerable call list that Jace talked around earlier, we get a lot of customers joining from that. It's virtual, so nobody will see them. They just join, and it's really easy to sign up. It's at the bottom of the home page of Santander, but also there's one on mobile banking, and how to make sure that you're keeping safe. But that's more directed to Santander customers, which I'm sure you all are. But I'll leave that one for Jace. But outside of that, I just wanted to highlight those two because we're building those, and we've got some exciting work-wise sessions coming in February, so that's more stuff to come.
So are they
Thanks, Stuart.
free sessions then, Stuart, to anybody? Is that on mute?
Sorry, my son's just wanted to come in because the dog is down here and he adores the dog, and it's like, hold off. Let me just, he's now crawling on the floor. Give me strength. Anyway, I've got a ninja as a son. I've called him many things actually, but anyway, they are free. Anybody can do it. You don't have to be a Santander customer. What we have done is we've enrolled Age UK, for example, and a lot of care homes join as a collective, obviously socially distancing, and that gives them the opportunity to do that. But I just think from a school's perspective, so many of the children come out absolutely financially illiterate, and understanding what the impact of their actions are, as Debbie well knows. So we're building on that, but it is free.
Brilliant. We use them. We've been using the CAB, which are really reasonable. I think they charge about £100 a session or something to run financial management sessions for our apprentices, and that's gone down really well. So yeah, definitely on the same page as all of you with that. Yeah,
well, as I say, we've got some sessions coming up, include the work-wise ones, which will then, I think we mentioned earlier, we then are giving access to all of our internal, which is unheard of, and it will give people the ability to type in their skills, and then it'll pump back out thousands of different tools that are available to them and considerations which all the managers in Santander have the benefit of, and to engage and embrace their colleagues. So,
Victoria?
Just to say, Joe, this is some of the work that we talked about around helping our children in care and looked after children, the work that Ben's doing, but also more widely, Stuart, this is something that we are feeding into that community of practice around our most vulnerable, because the resources that Santander provide are fantastic. The work-wise, there's always fabulous or money-wise workshops going on, but yeah, this is one of those things that we really value in terms of helping young people who a lot of young people haven't got that skill set, but some young people have some guidance at home. There's an awful lot of young people that actually don't have anything at all. So the work that you do is used well within the hub. As you know, as an EA, Jace, you're quite often doing that, and Faye and the rest of them. So really, really excellent resources. I do think that this does massively link to preparing young people for the place of work, and about employability skills, not just around money, but about that piece around this is what you create. And if you put something really silly out there, you might be influencing yourself out of a job. So, bit of a rant.
Sorry, the other thing to mention on that is that we've got a couple of young, sorry, my son's just broken something. Anyway, we've got a number of younger employees that we need to keep on reminding them of our internal social media policy about what's appropriate and what's not, because it exposes some of them because they work for a bank. If they highlight to somebody that they work for a bank, then unfortunately they can be targeted. So all these sort of things are really important, and Jason will know that we often have to tell people to be very careful about linking the two. So, but yeah.
Thank you. So now it's always good to think about these wider things that are sort of just slightly beyond the regular, but all connect into it. Is anyone else got any other items of other business? No, I don't see any more hands going up on the screen. So, Victoria, you were going to talk about the next meeting now, or circulate that afterwards?
Just say a date in where we're thinking. Sorry, I went a bit odd there. I'm guessing sort of April, the latter part of April would be the most obvious, as the group normally meet quarterly. Is everybody happy with that? And also by then it would probably be, hopefully, a good time to consider those themes that we mentioned earlier. So is everybody happy if I doodle poll for that time frame?
Just thinking the virtual
or
work
early May.
Oh, it's the careers fair, isn't it? It's 26th, 27th, 28th. So maybe early May, just to.
That's in March, is the virtual careers fair.
Right, and the work experience is.
The work experience is running in it's running in 2 occasions. You mean the virtual works with speakers for schools? Yeah, there's 2 sessions of that. Are you thinking, Chair, to have it after that?
After one of them, at least.
Okay,
so.
well, we can go into May. I mean, I don't really want to push it beyond the Careers Leader Conference, but then shall I look at dates and we'll go for sort of May then? Yeah?
Yeah, lovely. Yeah.
I'll look at May. May, perfect.
Lovely. Okay, well, thanks everyone for contributions today, because I think we've sort of uncovered some really good practice there that people have been bringing to the group, which is great, and hopefully some ideas that others can take away going forward. And, there we are.
Thanks everyone. I'm going to stay on the call with Alison, so I'm not going to close so we've got a catch up, so I'm not going to close the meeting down, so you can just leave, but thanks very much.
Thanks a lot. Take care.